Hey, good evening, everyone. Weather forecaster Derek Overland here. I mentioned before that we were going to hop on when these thunderstorms were starting to make their way towards I-35, and they are finally here, reaching the I-35 portions of our viewing area just outside of Steele County and slowly making its way into Freeborn County. You can see this line of thunderstorms just off to the west of I-35 and getting a little bit larger here than when we were streaming just a little bit ago, and we have a longer line reaching all the way down to Highway 18. A lot of these thunderstorms are severe warned. We even have a tornado warning right around just west of Albert Lea. It would be just west of Freeborn County and right around Winnebago. So let's take off some of this lightning here since that's in the way. And this is a purple or the pink polygon, and so that is a sign that this is a confirmed tornado on the ground. And by the way it looks here, take a look at this warning. So New Richland is just outside of this warning, but Waldorf, Mapleton's in it, and so Lake is in it for this particular warning. Now let's see if I can get this to work here. It looks like there's a little bit of rotation towards Mapleton, maybe is where that broad rotation is at. But that's for right now. That's where we are at, and these thunderstorms just off to our west still, just out of our viewing area. This is out of our viewing area, but they are starting to move in towards the I-35 side. We'll be moving in very shortly here. So let's go back to satellite, or back to radar here. Put this in motion so you get an idea of where this is coming through from, and we have this coming in from the west, continuing to track east, and eventually we'll make it towards into I-35. We'll continue to track east towards the Mississippi River throughout the night tonight. And again, we do have that confirmed tornado just west of our viewing area, towards just west of Steele County and also northwest of Freeborn County. A little bit of portions of Freeborn County are in a severe thunderstorm warning. Let's take a look at this warning. So Blue Earth, Faribault in that severe thunderstorm warning until 5:30 tonight, and then of course we do have that tornado warning. That is a confirmed tornado in Blue Earth and Faribault County. This tornado has been kind of up and down. It was down earlier when it was towards Fairmont, and then it is tracking northeast, and it lifted a little bit. It was just a regular tornado warning, radar indicated, so it lifted a little bit, and now obviously is back on the ground.
Are you live?
Yes, I am.
There's a report from the Weather Service. That one. Reports of 2 tornadoes on the ground with that one.
Okay, so two tornadodos on the ground.
Yeah, it's in a bad spot.
Yeah, I was going to say, because velocity doesn't look too much.
It's hard to see. They had a report of potentially two tornadoes on the ground. You could maybe have it here. It's in between Blue Earth and Winnebago.
Okay, so
So there, and then maybe farther to the north.
Farther to the north.
Yeah, like right up that way.
Okay.
So just keep an eye on that, because that's the one that's going to be moving in to, well, Waseca. We'll see. I think it might shift a little farther east.
Okay.
But yeah, so Winnebago and Blue Earth.
Yep.
So just to pass that along.
All right, awesome. Thank you. All right, so if you didn't hear that, spotters have confirmed 2 tornadoes in this cell with this tornado warning. So there are 2 tornadoes in there. And it looks like a little bit of rotation is at least being noticed. Getting a little bit better right around here, right above north of Delvin, where it's getting a little bit better to be seen, but it is in a really bad spot, as Nick mentioned before, for velocity. Not really seeing a whole lot there. But again, spotters did confirm this tornado. let's talk now about kind of where our storms are heading here. So we do have, as mentioning before, that severe thunderstorm warning. Just a few portions, a little northwest portion of Freeborn County, getting towards Wells in Faribault County. So we do have that severe thunderstorm warning. We'll get that put up here. So, of course, we do have that tornado warning. Hail size of 1.5 inches in there. I'm assuming that's what the severe thunderstorm warning is going to be that 1.5 inches, possibly around that 2-inch mark for that severe thunderstorm warning here. So now let's take a look at future track once again. So we'll have an idea of where these storms are heading towards, and we'll see these thunderstorms continue to track east. Notice there's the line right here. We have that line building up just off to our west, and then it will continue to move on through, continuing to stay strong throughout the entire time between I-35 and Highway 52 towards around that 8 p.m. hour, and then just continues on throughout the night, eventually leaving the area by around 11 o'clock tonight or till midnight. So we're looking at a pretty long time for these thunderstorms to track west to east here throughout the rest of the night. So now let's go back to radar so we can see kind of what's going on here. We do have that severe thunderstorm warning in Rice County. That's a newer one too. We have a strong thunderstorm moving through, and that's also going to continue to track towards the east, towards Goodhue County, eventually towards Steele County too, for this tornado warning. So we'll just continue to watch and monitor this tornado warning just off to our west, because this tornado has been on the ground before, and again has been reported as 2 tornadoes. There has been a report of 2 tornadoes in this cell, both been on the ground, so just at different places throughout this cell. And again, just west of our viewing area towards I-35. Let's take a look at hail. Hail is strong in this storm, so we can see a hail core just south of Amboy there. Let's take a look at how big this is. We're looking at ping pong sized hail. Let's look at this other one near Buford. A little bit smaller hail core there, but we have penny sized hail near Buford. And I mean, there's hail cores throughout this line of storms. We also have the storm that's tracking south towards North Iowa. This one also producing some hail here because we do have that severe thunderstorm warning. We're looking at quarter-size hail towards Estherville. I know this is just west. This is west of our viewing area, so not in our viewing area. But this is what's coming later on tonight, and it looks like they kind of converged these severe thunderstorm warnings here. Since this created a line. So here's that line of thunderstorms once again. A couple severe thunderstorm warnings in northern Iowa towards reaching from Spencer all the way up into the Minnesota border towards Fairmont. And then we have another severe thunderstorm warning all the way from Fairmont and also in Blue Earth County, and then Faribault County, excuse me, and then tracking north all the way up towards Rice County. So long line of severe weather moving in towards the I-35 area. So we're just going to continue to watch this and watch this play out here, especially with that tornado warning moving closer and closer towards our viewing area, especially because it was on the ground earlier too towards the Fairmont area, and then lifted for a little bit, and now is back on the ground, and even was reported for having 2 tornadoes down on the ground. So we are going to watch this very closely as it continues to track. Storm starting to move in towards I-35, heading towards Northfield. Do have those thunderstorms finally hitting the I-35 interstate. And then we'll just continue to have these move through. So just kind of waiting to see any updates we see from this tornado warning. I do want to take another look at velocity and see if we can see this. It does not look very good. It's in a really bad spot. I'm not seeing anything like at all. Well, there's a little bit of sound up here, but that's not enough for tornado. Let's see if I can. Nope, not gonna work. Okay. Take a look at the hail core again. Hail core looking like it's weakening on the last scan. That's a good sign. Hopefully this stays weakening as we go through the night here as these thunderstorms continue to move through. But it might be a kind of pulsing there. So nickel-sized hail in this strongest part of the thunderstorm, kind of right in between Amboy still, heading towards Highway 30. So severe thunderstorm warning, this stretches all the way towards Waseca, Waterville, Faribault just out of it, kind of portions of Faribault, that the west side, west of I-35 in this severe thunderstorm warning. So we'll continue to watch this as it moves in. There we go, now it's... So the severe thunderstorm warning is for all of these severe thunderstorm warnings on here. This is warned for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and half-dollar-sized hail. We have tornado. Obviously, we do have that confirmed tornado in there, but throughout this severe thunderstorm warning, tornado is possible throughout the warning. So let's put back on loop radar. We can kind of get an idea of where we're looking. We'll take away some of the lightning here. That's getting kind of too much there. So lots of lightning in these thunderstorms, saying how strong they are. So the more the lightning, the stronger the storms are. And so that's a big piece of kind of looking and monitoring radar. Also notice how a lot of these thunderstorms are just kind of building up along Spencer here. We do have some buildup happening all along this line here, all the way into Nebraska. So long lines of some cells, but this is our main line of thunderstorms that will be impacting us here later on this evening. And again, just kind of watching this cell that's producing this tornado, as I mentioned before, has produced a tornado twice here. It had a confirmed tornado warning near the Fairmont area, and then lifted, was just a tornado radar indicated tornado warning, so it lifted for a little bit and is now confirmed back on the ground just a little bit later. So let's take another look at hail detection, see what hail is going on in this cell. And we have another small little hail core building up just south of Sterling. Hopefully there's no houses there, as there could be quarter-size hail in there. Just along Highway 30 in west of I-35. So again, this is west. This is out of our viewing area, but this is what's coming towards us here as we go into these evening hours. So I just wanted to make sure I got on stream here before these storms made it towards our I-35 counties, because they will be impacting them fairly shortly. We're looking at around that 5:30, 6 o'clock is when these storms will fully start to move in. We'll see, of course, Rice County already seeing some thunderstorms move in towards I-35, and then we'll just see the line go down. So Owatonna will come first, then Albert Lea, and then eventually Mason City. We'll have the chance to see a few thunderstorms later on this evening. And again, we do have our meteorologist David Burgett, who's out in Freeborn County. He's, I believe, in Alden right now. And so we'll be watching to see if he sees anything when these storms do move through towards I-35, towards the Freeborn County. So he's sitting right around here. He's like kind of just right outside of that severe thunderstorm warning, just to the east of it. So we'll see what he starts to see here later on tonight. As he's been live for our 5 o'clock show. Again, I think he'll be live again for our 6 o'clock show too coming up. And then if we do, again, I mentioned before in the prior stream that we have, if we do have a tornado warning, we will send this live stream to what is happening on air. So we'll have some, wall-to-wall coverage for those, any type of tornado warning in our viewing area. So then it'll be Nick and Sarah, and then I will be back to just track out storms and just see kind of where they're going to be heading and what we can expect for the rest of the night if there are any severe thunderstorm warnings. Because before a tornado warning, we usually have a severe thunderstorm warning, so we can go through that and get the information we need. And if there's a tornado possible there, we can get ready to do some coverage if we need to have, if the National Weather Service does issue a tornado warning. We also do have storm chasers, our Iowa storm chasers that are out, and they're looking at in some of these cells here. I believe our one is tracking right along here kind of near Algona, a little bit north of there. I believe he's right up there, and then we have another storm chaser who I believe is a little bit closer, around up towards Buffalo Center maybe. So a couple of storm chasers that are kind of watching things here, so we'll get reports from them too whenever they start to see something. And I have a couple monitors here, and I can kind of see what's kind of going on. So if they find anything, we'll be able to let you know as soon as possible. And it looks like one of them might be seeing something here, a little bit of some clouds lowering. So I'll put one of those live streamers up. There won't be any sound, sadly, so you won't be able to hear anything, but you'll be able to see things from our storm chaser here that is out. So here's a look and of our storm chaser. You can see a little bit of lowering there, a little bit of some clouds lowering. I can't use really the mouse. I don't know if you can see my mouse or not. Oh yeah, you can. A little bit of lowering there, a little bit of scud, and hard to tell if that's fully starting to drop or not, but there is a little bit of lowering on his feed there. So something to look at as we continue to track out these thunderstorms. We'll send back here to all right, so here's our line of thunderstorms. Once again, we have the thunderstorms moving through, getting closer towards I-35. We're going to continue to see them move on through. And we have another tornado warning here, so just into Steele County. So this is not confirmed on the ground, but we do have a tornado warning. Let's get velocity pulled up here. See that? I can see that a little bit better. We have some rotation just around here. We have some rotation. So looking to be right around Janesville, there could be some rotation. Kind of along this line, there's a little bit of red. There we go. That scan was a lot better. Yeah, just east of Janesville, we have this rotation. So radar indicated tornado warning. So So that's tornado warnings for LeSueur, Rice, Steele, and Waseca counties. So Faribault, you are included into that tornado warning. It looks like it is just north of the town of Waseca, but if you're in Waseca, it's still a good idea to head to your safe place. If you're in Waterville, Janesville, even though it's a little bit past you, it wouldn't be a bad idea there because we do have that rotation. Blooming Grove, Deerfield, Warsaw, again, Faribault, Medford, you'll want to get into your safe place. Let's take a look at velocity once again. So we can see that get a little bit better here with each scan. It's coming in just a little bit better each time. Let's see if we can get some more towns. Blooming Grove, I think I mentioned that one already. Warsaw, Deerfield, looking at Faribault, all in this tornado warning just off to the north. So just north of Waseca, getting into the northern portions of Steele County. So you might be hearing sirens in Steele County. And that's for the northern portions.
Something to talk about too.
Yep.
With some of these storms, especially that guy there.
Yep. Okay.
So that one's got decent rotation. That's in northern Steele County. Some of these, there's the rotation right there.
Yep.
Some of these though are gustnados.
Okay.
So they're forming ground up. So there's a lot of shear in the atmosphere, and some of them are actually not forming. That's why it's been weaker rotation in that one that's observed, at least on velocity, because it's starting from ground up. So that's just something that's something to watch on a couple of these cells. But that one north of Waseca is concerning.
Okay, so yeah, we are watching the one just north of Waseca. If you heard that from Nick Jansen, we have we're watching this tornado warning just north of Waseca, just east of Janesville, as that continues to trek to the east here. So we're going to go back on radar so we can get an idea of what this cell looks like. And we'll take lightning off. Lots of lightning in these thunderstorms, showing kind of how strong they are. So let's take a look at timing things out here. So we have this tornado warning. The tornado warning is moving northeast at 60 miles per hour. So it is a very fast moving, these are very fast moving storms. I think that's going to be a trend that we see throughout the evening, is we're going to have these fast moving storms. So if I put 60 miles per hour in, we'll take another look at velocity so I can get an idea of where this is in the cell. So we got this right here. Let's track northeast. So there's Canaan Valley Lutheran High School, Warsaw District 1 Hospital that is in this. So we'll get this entire box, this warning box here, and broaden it up since this could move around here. So we're looking at Waterville, Morristown, Warsaw, Faribault, and Walcott, all timings are right on the top here. You can see 5:26 in Waterville, 5:32 in Morristown, 5:35 in Warsaw, 5:42 in Faribault, and 5:46 in Walcott. So if you have anybody, I know that's a little bit out of our viewing area there, just getting to the northern portions of Steele County. If you know anybody who lives there, it's a good idea to give them a call, make sure they know what's going on and that they do have that tornado warning in case they don't know, if they didn't hear the sirens. We'll take another look at We'll look at correlation coefficient. So a little bit of sound getting picked up there. It could be, yeah, it's probably our hail getting picked up in there. So there is some hail that is in that tornado warning, just behind where that rotation is. Quarter size hail there in this severe thunderstorm and in this tornado warning that is heading off to the northeast. So very strong thunderstorms just off to our west. Again, this is mostly west of our viewing area. It does clip the northern portions of Steele County, which is in our viewing area, but getting in towards the Faribault for that the city of Faribault with this tornado warning. And that rotation is looking very strong. Each scan, it's looking better and better. Okay, so this tornado is definitely something of concern with how strong that rotation is. You can see the rotation right where the green and the reds are mixing together there. So this would be our biggest area of concern right there. And you can see that next scan. Getting a little bit tighter there. So what the reds and you may be wondering what the reds and the green mean. So we're getting this is the radar at the National Weather Service in the Twin Cities. So it's right here. Here's the radar dome. You can see it spinning around there. And so what the red means is that this is wind that's going away. This is going away from radar. This is heading towards radar. And when you have that spinning, that going up and down, you have rotation in there, and that's when you can see, that's why this is a radar indicated tornado, and that's why this rotation, it's looking pretty strong. So there is some area of concern definitely along here. I do want to get another track. Let's just go all the way through this warning here. So here's another look at timings. Again, this is mostly out of our viewing area. It does impact the Medford area that is in the northern portions of Steele County, which is in our viewing area. But here are some timings here. If you have anybody that you know that is in these areas that are just west of I-35 and then getting into the I-35 area. All right, let's take a look at radar once again. So this line of thunderstorms stretching all the way is getting into the Twin Cities. There's another severe thunderstorm warning that was just been added. We'll take a look at this severe thunderstorm and what this is warned for. So this is actually for the Albert Lee area. So this is Freeborn County. So we do have that severe thunderstorm warning for Freeborn and Waseca. This does include Albert Lee and pretty much the entire portion of Freeborn County except for this portion just off to the southeast. That's where we don't have that severe thunderstorm warning. So Freeman, Clarks Grove, Blooming Prairie getting into that warning there, kind of half and half. New Richland, Keister, Wells, you've been in a warning. Ellendale will be in a warning too with this new severe thunderstorm warning. So now let's take a look at hail. So hail, not too much in this severe thunderstorm warning. We're getting some right around Blue Earth there. We're getting some dime-sized hail. It's still decent-sized hail, but very large hail in this tornado warning. We're looking at ping-pong-sized hail. Looks like, yeah, that's the largest we're going to get is ping-pong-sized hail. At least radar indicated ping-pong-sized hail. That does play a factor. That might not be exactly what's making it to the ground, but that does tell us, gives us an idea of what we're kind of seeing in the upper atmosphere that radar's seeing. let's take a look at this severe thunderstorm warning a little bit. So we have 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and half dollar size hail. This is for the severe thunderstorm warning that is brand new for the Freeborn County area. That does include Albert Lee, and it's from this thunderstorm that's tracking off to the east here. It's just to the west of I-35, but tracking east. So this storm is moving east at 50 miles per hour, so we'll get a track on that so you can get some timing there, get an idea of when this is happening. So we'll get a track of this entire line, and it's heading east. So we got New Richland, Albert Lee around 6:08. So it'll be a little bit before it gets into the Albert Lee area. It'll be in the New Richland area first. You're probably already seeing some thunderstorms in New Richland. And then at Dodge Center around 6:10. Eventually it could be here into Rochester around that 6:30 time frame. So around 6:30, 7 o'clock, we start to see some thunderstorms here in Rochester. St. Charles finally at 7:01. These are tracking going rather fast with the distance being around 50 miles per hour to the east. So again, wind speeds. Take another look at this warning for Freeborn County. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts again, and half dollar sized hail. I do want to take a look. Let's take another look at that hail because I didn't see that earlier. And there's some good news there. That tornado warning that was confirmed on the ground is now back to a radar indicated tornado warning. So more than likely lifted there. But again, we've seen that tornado go on the ground, lift back up. It was confirmed just a little bit ago. Now is just radar indicated once again. So we'll see if that makes it back to the ground here. We'll take again, not really seeing much on the scans. We'll have to wait for the next scan here for hail wise for this Albert Lee storm. Yep. All right, so we'll continue to track out this tornado warning that's just north of Owatonna. Let's take a look at velocity once again. As I was mentioning before, the rotation was looking very good for a moment there. Now, not as much, but there is still a little bit of rotation in there. All the way from towards Highway 60. Possibly even all the way down towards Highway 14, towards Meredith and Waseca. We could see a little bit there, just south of the warning. So Meriden, maybe in Owatonna want to take cover here as we may see this warning get a little bit larger. We'll see what the next scan does, because some of these scans are not fully correct there, but it does look like there is some type of rotation within this line towards Waseca. Seeing a little bit of rotation towards maybe Vivian. This is the one that is was confirmed just a little bit ago, possibly a gustnado where it's coming from the ground up, and a couple little bits there of some rotation, but that warning, since it's a gustnado, is very hard to see on velocity. That actually makes sense on why we weren't able to really see it too much. So continuing to watch this line of thunderstorms, finally starting to make it into our viewing area. One thing, just looking at this radar line here, zoom back in, is trying to create a line all the way across here. It is a line of thunderstorms, but it's trying to kind of bow out, I think, a little bit between Minnesota Lake all the way up towards Owatonna, even towards Rice County, trying to bow out. Might be some very gusty winds in there. If you're in Owatonna, you're starting to see some thunderstorms possibly. There could be some gusty winds in there with that possible straight line winds. Take another look at the hail core here. We do have some hail getting a little bit bigger. We're looking at nickel-sized hail just south of I-90 towards the Iowa-Minnesota border. Again, that's west of our viewing area, though, but that is what's heading over here fairly shortly. Again, we do have that tornado warning. Just north of Owatonna towards Medford, we do have that tornado warning. Let's take another look at velocity, see if they're going to keep going back and forth between velocity and the hail core here as we have these new scans come in. And there's a little bit, not as great rotation, but wasn't as, you kind of want it in that ball, where if you're looking for a tornado, you want it in that ball, but there could be some rotation in there, especially along this line. Notice each scan, the line of red gets a little bit longer, and so we could have that little bit of spin-ups in while we have these the lines of thunderstorms in the middle of the thunderstorms. Definitely have those spin-ups, and if we do have a spin-up, it more than likely will be rain wrapped. We talked about being rain wrapped here. If we do have tornadoes, they will more than likely be rain wrapped, and you can see here where that rotation is. So if we remember back looking at that last scan, we had down and then up within this line. So let me get rid of the lightning here, that's a little distracting, but down and up. So within that line, possibly some spin-ups in there. No tornado warning yet for the Owatonna area. Just north of Owatonna towards Medford, we do have that tornado warning. Faribault also in that tornado warning. And it looks like they updated it a little bit. We'll take a look at this update. So it is still moving at 60 miles per hour. So these storms are moving, as I mentioned before, they are moving very fast. So when you do see these thunderstorms, they should be ending fairly quickly here as we go throughout the night, as we have these storms just kind of roll on through. They'll be moving fairly quickly. So we'll go back to 60 miles per hour here. And we'll draw a line and go out heading east. We'll put that down just a little bit. Here are some timings. So Faribault, the airport there, and Faribault at 5:41, probably seeing some thunderstorms already. Faribault, probably already seeing some thunderstorms as well. Walcott, 5:46, Wheeling, 5:52, and Nerstrand at 5:53 with this thunderstorm. Even a little bit of lightning there towards Blooming Prairie. We don't even have a reading of thunderstorms. Here's an area to watch for eventually as this continues to move through towards the Albert Lee area. We do have this line of thunderstorms creating some penny-sized hail, at least radar indicated penny-sized hail. And that's tracking northeast. Now let's look at how long these severe thunderstorms. So the severe thunderstorm for Freeborn County is until 6:15 tonight. So at 5:29 p.m., severe thunderstorms were located along the line from over Waseca to near Elmore, or along a line from 13 miles west of Owatonna to 17 miles southeast of Fairmont, moving east at 50 miles per hour. So these thunderstorms are moving east at, the severe thunderstorms are moving east at 50 miles per hour, and we do have 60 mile per hour wind gusts and half dollar sized hail in these thunderstorms. Let's put the radar on a loop here so we can get an idea again of where they are heading. And they are tracking kind of an east-northeast motion. So the line itself is moving east. but the storms are kind of moving at a northeast pace. So the whole line itself is just slowly moving east while the storm's moving slightly to the northeast, kind of an east-northeast motion. Not seeing much on correlation coefficient. That's good. I'll watch this tornado warning here with this rotation, because this is looking a little bit better. See how you have the brighter colors, the brighter green kind of going around this way? Could have some rotation. Looks like we just got a new tornado warning. This does include Owatonna, so this is for this line right here. So we do have, if you're in Owatonna, if you're near Owatonna, you want it to get into your safe places, we do have that new tornado warning here for you. We'll take a look at radar really quick, and it looks like a line is that line of thunderstorms. So this is moving east at 55 miles per hour, so we'll get a little track on that. .55 miles per hour, we'll get that thrown out to the polygon. So Owatonna Regional Airport, 543, Medford at 544, 546 for the town, or the city of Owatonna, 551 for Havana, and 552 for power plant on Highway 14 there. Kind of a weird name for that, but power plant, if you know where that's at, on Highway 14. And not sure if that's actually its name or not. I feel like it might actually have a name, but the power plant there, if you're from around there. Along this line, heading into the Owatonna area. So do want to take another look at this warning and what it says, because let's see if we have So this tornado warning is until 6 o'clock. So this is a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Owatonna, moving east at 55 miles per hour. So the hazard is a tornado and quarter-sized hail. This is radar indicated rotation, so not confirmed on the ground, but as I mentioned before, if we do see those tornadoes in this line of thunderstorms, they will more than likely be rain wrapped, so you won't be able to see them. So if you're in Owatonna, any of the towns near Owatonna in this polygon, you'll want to get into your safe place, get to the lowest part of a building, of a sturdy building. And looks like they just updated the tornado warning. This does reach into parts of our viewing area of Goodhue County, so this does include Kenyon. Let's take another look at velocity here. And we do have that rotation. I was looking at that earlier. I was going to say it was a little bit stronger. Right around here, around I-35, we do have that rotation. That's continuing to track here. So let's get some information on this tornado warning and see what the National Weather Service is seeing. So we have this is until 6:15, moving northeast at 45 miles per hour for a tornado and quarter-sized hail. This is radar indicated rotation, radar indicated tornado warning. This is for Faribault, Kenyon, Stanton, Warsaw, Nerstrand, the Nerstrand Big Wood State Park, Ruskin, and Bombay. Those are the areas that are in this tornado warning. So let's get our information up here for you. So Goodhue and Rice. till 6:15 for that 1-inch size hail. And again, it is radar indicated. And then we have the other tornado warning in Steele County, and this is until 6 p.m. tonight for 1-inch size hail. And we do have both of these radar indicated tornado warnings, both in Steele County and getting into Goodhue and Rice County. We'll kind of zoom in and get some more town names here. So, of course, we do have Warsaw, Walcott, mentioned those in the warning before, Nerstrand, and also Kenyon is in this warning. Denison is in this warning. So these are definitely, we do have another tornado warning in northern Iowa. That's out of our area. We'll focus on these. But this line of thunderstorms is producing some rotation, has produced tornadoes. So that is a threat here, has been a threat here as we go into this evening. So I do want to take another look at this tornado warning. As I mentioned before, this is moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. And so now we'll go back to our velocity here and check where that rotation's at. We have a couple spots and areas for concerns here. We have this little bit towards Faribault. Not very good rotation, but I think better off right around here with this line of red and green, where we're going away, red again going away from radar, green going towards radar, where we do have that rotation possible. So let's take a look at timings here. So this is moving at 45 miles per hour again. We'll do a straight line right across, and we'll go all the way throughout the polygon here as far as I can here with this. How zoomed out I was, or zoomed in I was. So we got Faribault at 549, Ruskin at 554, 556 for Richland, 601 for Wheeling, and 604 for Kenyon. Again, that is a radar indicated tornado warning and heading towards the Goodhue County area. Notice we have these storms moving very fast through Owatonna. Already where we have kind of that red and green lined up in the velocity, already kind of in front. And within this line of red and green, you can have possible spin-ups, and that is why we do have these radar indicated tornado warnings, because we do have those really windy conditions. You can have a spin-up in there. And even taking a closer look, we can see possibly one right near Merton. We do have a little bit of some stronger going towards the radar. So with the reds and greens, green going towards radar, red going away from radar. So then here would be our concern. Looks like we have another severe thunderstorm warning for Dodge County, northern portion of Dodge County. So it's a severe thunderstorm warning, and now behind the severe thunderstorm warning, we do have that tornado warning towards Steele County. We'll see if that gets extended into Dodge County here as these storms continue to move east. But I do want to get readings here on this severe thunderstorm warning for Dodge County. Let's see if I can mess with it enough to where it just shows. There we go. Dodge County, can't really see it, but radar indicated for the severe thunderstorm warning for Dodge County, northern portions of Dodge County until 6:30 tonight for 60 mile per hour winds and 1-inch sized hail. So we'll take a look at our hail core. So again, these storms are moving in at a northeast pace. So the hail we're mainly concerned about for Dodge County would be down here. So we're looking at penny-sized hail for now. Some of that hail may strengthen here as we have some better air. So let's quickly take a look at our dew points. So dew points are pretty good. They're fairly high in the 60s throughout the area. Where we have had the storms, notice they're a little bit lower. That's because that dry line moved through, sparking these thunderstorms. Where we haven't really had the thunderstorms yet, we have lots of dew, lots of moisture that could strengthen these storms here as they track here. So we have, looks like they updated our tornado warning for Steele County there, just getting out of Owatonna, looking to be just east of Owatonna now, kind of tracking right along Highway 14 as we could have that possible spin up in that line. So let's take another look at this line. So another area of concern right up here. We have those lighter greens and darker reds. That will be an area of concern where we could have a spin up. And it just kind of continues through the line, maybe even a little one over down here, but a better one it would be up here. So let's zoom in even farther on this. Not really any town names, so that's good there. Just past Merton. And again, these are heading northeast towards Dodge County. Want to make sure we don't have any new warnings south. We don't. It's just Albert Lee. Let's take another look at this tornado warning just to the north towards Goodhue County. We haven't checked on this one in a little while. Still about the same thing that we're looking at about with the Steele County one. We're seeing this line of thunderstorms where we could have a quick spin up of rotation. And let's get another. Let's get another line here just to get some timing so you know when this is coming. So Nursery and Bigwood State Park at 5:58, Wheeling 5:58 as well. 6 o'clock for Nerstrand, Denison at 6:04, and then Holden and Lutheran Church towards 6:08, along with Kenyon. Kenyon is also in there. Let's see if I can do that again, add Kenyon to it. Kenyon would be 6:02 for that time frame there. Let's put radar in motion again so we can see these storms moving into the area. Couple tornado warnings in northern Iowa towards just east of Spencer and north of Algona. So the entire line of thunderstorms capable of producing those tornadoes, severe thunderstorms. Of course, we have those severe thunderstorm warnings across I-35. We'll continue to have that here. Another tornado warning, this one towards Buffalo Center, again, just west of our viewing area. So all of these thunderstorms that we see all along this line, capable of producing those quick spin-ups, those tornadoes that we could see this entire line here. We haven't checked the hail core for a while. We've had a couple scans go by, so we'll take a look at hail. Looks like New Richland is seeing some quarter-size hail, possibly even a little bit bigger there. Looking to be quarter as our biggest. So New Richland seeing some possible hail, radar indicated hail, kind of riding right along Highway 13 there between Waseca and New Richland, and then going all the way up into Owatonna, where we could be seeing, that looks like that could be pea-size hail towards Owatonna, and it's dime-size hail towards Owatonna. At least radar indicated there. And we have another tornado warning. This one's for Goodhue County. And sounds like we are going wall to wall, so we are going to get you onto our severe weather coverage here.
right above us too. I don't think we're seeing that shelf cloud just yet, but we can definitely tell, at least off toward a little bit of the west and the southwest, we're going to see that storm push through here in the next, hopefully, 20 to 30 minutes at least. So definitely some scarier clouds here, also, as you can see on your camera.
Edge of that rainfall is just to your west. So I would head into shelter where you're at right now, David. So make sure to hop off camera here and head to a safe place just real quick. So this is where David is at right now, and notice where that leading edge is at. All those ominous clouds, real dark outside just to the west of where David is at. So he'll head to shelter and keep an eye on things out in Freeborn County, as we do have that severe thunderstorm warning still in effect there. We do have another tornado warning that I do want to look at. This is just west of, say, Forest City, Buffalo Center, right near Bancroft, I should say. So we'll keep an eye on that. That one had some pretty decent rotation at one point in time. So that is just right along Highway 9 there in northern Iowa, and I'm kind of pointing out to where we would see the rotation at with that cell. So again, we'll have a lot of these spin-ups along this line. It is a more linear line right now, so not in terms of a supercell or something like that. Maybe a couple embedded spin-ups is what we'll have. Sarah, you were talking just a little bit ago. We'll tune into you. You said there were some sirens going off somewhere?
Yeah.
So she'll turn her mic on here in a second. So towards Pine Island, is that where you were saying?
Yes. So Olmsted County, that will sound off the sirens for the Pine Island area. They were setting off the sirens just about 6 o'clock. So folks in Pine Island probably have heard the sirens if you were outside. Hopefully now you are inside heading to your safe spot.
Yeah, so we do have a tornado warning in effect for portions of Goodhue County. And that does include Pine Island and in Zumbrota. So right along Highway 52 is where we have that. And the last check, the rotation was heading right near Kenyon, is where we had at least the strongest rotation, and that is where we do still have the strongest rotation, right over Kenyon at this point in time. So this will continue to move to the east northeast. Now I do think it'll, at least the center of the rotation should be, if this continues on just the northeasterly track here, if it continues to move like this, it'll be just to the northwest of Zumbrota, Roscoe, and Pine Island. So we'll keep a real close eye. We could have a couple more spin-ups and maybe just to the west of 57 here and just to the north of West Concord. That is where we maybe have a couple quick spin-ups, and we'll see a lot of that again tonight with some of the leading edges of these cells. Just some embedded tornadoes that I think we'll see through the next couple of hours. So again, you're watching KTTC News at 6 o'clock tonight because we have the tornado warnings in Goodhue, and then farther off to the south, southwest into northern Iowa. We will continue to stay with weather coverage through the evening tonight. Let's walk through Future Track too, just to kind of get a good idea, so then we can kind of see how models are handling things in real time through the rest of the night. So let's look at a high resolution model here that we have at KTTC handling in real time. Again, it looks fairly similar to what we just saw there on radar. So that long line of thunderstorms impacting the region, they will move quickly. So about 50 to 55 miles per hour through the evening tonight. So notice those thunderstorms start to make their way. It might be a little sooner near Highway 52, and it will be a long night here at KTTC if we have to wait until 8:30 for this line to start to make its way near the Highway 52 I-90 corridor. So towards Rochester by, I think, earlier than 8:30 is probably what we're looking at for this evening. So a strong line of thunderstorms by that point in time, and then a little bit more disorganized through the evening tonight. So by 11, I think our severe threat's probably over with by maybe 10 to 11 o'clock tonight. Maybe a couple storms producing some hail by that point in time. But I think once the sun sets, we'll really start to lose a lot of the energy in the atmosphere with some of these storms. Your storm threats throughout the night tonight, so we'll have have some heavy downpours, likely any type of spin or tornado that we do have, a tornado warning, some heavy rainfall associated with that too. So visibility will be an issue in terms of just trying to spot some of those spots with rotation or even making it down to the ground. Large hail will be possible, some strong wind, and some tornadoes will be likely in some spots throughout the evening tonight. I do want to mention too, we're doing some live coverage on our website and on social media too. So for some reason, let's just say you lose power, you can watch us streaming on our social platforms and on our website at kttc.com. Scan that QR code right there. It'll take you right to the First Alert weather app. You can track the storms there yourself too. We'll have some push alerts. You get instant notifications whenever there's a warning issued where your location is at. You can set your locations too. I know I have them set throughout pretty much the entire viewing area, always to know what's happening in your neck of the woods, right? So just scan that QR code, download the app. We'll have updates on the app throughout the night too, just in case if you lose power or something like that, worst case scenario with that. So let's go back to radar. Check right back in. We're going to go over to Sarah Gannon here. Sarah, just walk us through some of the warnings that we still have across the region.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. We continue on with our tornado warning for Goodhue County. We also have that severe thunderstorm warning for Steele County into Freeborn County there along the I-35 corridor. So that's where we're seeing a lot of these warnings here at this hour. Might be a little far zoomed in here, but this also stretches back to back towards Waseca County. Also includes the northern portion of Dodge County at this hour, and then back towards Faribault County. So we are kind of looking right along the I-35 corridor, slowly starting to make its way into the Highway 52 corridor. I am going to pop on the warnings here so we can take a look at all of those. But you can see here that tornado warning for the Goodhue County and portions of Rice County. This stays in effect until 6:30 here for this evening. We also have that severe thunderstorm warning for Dodge County until 6:30, so another 20 minutes on that one. We're also looking at Freeborn, Waseca counties until about 6:15. So still another 5 minutes on that one. I would not be surprised to see those warnings getting extended further downstream. So getting closer to Rochester, getting closer to Austin, the Highway 52 corridor, as these thunderstorms continue to push to the east. So that's a look at southeast Minnesota here, but even just to our western edge in northeastern Iowa, Kossuth County under that tornado warning until 6:30 this evening. So folks towards the Buffalo Center area needing to be seeking shelter as that storm approaches your location. So we'll continue to keep an eye on those. I do want to take a look at let's take a look at radar here, and you can just see them, how quickly they are moving. And I'm going to keep an eye here on our National Weather Service chat, but it does look like there is a storm report from a spotter, Hope, in Steele County. So that's south of the Owatonna area, seeing a hail report of about 1.75 inches. So some very large-sized hail in that direction. So we'll zoom in here a little bit further. We'll check out those hail cores here. And again, if you are south of Owatonna, again, between Owatonna, Ellendale, some very large hail moving right across the highway, or the I-35 corridor. So we're looking towards Somerset, and I believe Hope is in there as well. So between that Ellendale, Owatonna area, looking at some large hail. And we can quarry this as well. We'll go for kind of the brighter colors there. So again, getting to about a ping pong size. So very large hail here in the Steele County area. And we'll zoom out further again. We'll take a look at some hail going through the Kenyon area. We did have a report from one of our spotters in the Kenyon area of some smaller hail, at least. A lot of pea-size hail, maybe up towards penny size. Confirmation of some penny-size hail of that storm that was going through the Faribault area earlier this evening. That one is delayed by about 15 minutes on that storm report there. So again, we continue with that tornado warning for Goodhue County. We're also looking at some hail into Faribault County between just to the east there of the Blue Earth city of Blue Earth. So folks towards Albert Lee, you continue to remain under that severe thunderstorm warning here this evening. Some hail potentially heading your way. Well, also, I want to check out velocity here. We'll continue to keep an eye on that. Noting quite a bit of blues into the Faribault County area, so near Blue Earth, just a little southeast of that. So that may be an area that we need to watch out for, Nick. And then we'll kind of jump further to the north back towards Goodhue County as well. So folks towards Zumbrota, you need to be in your safe place here, seeking shelter here this evening as we're looking at that strong wind, that tornadic potential moving very, very close to the city of Zumbrota there, right along Highway 52.
Yeah, that's right, Sarah. So that's the main warning that we have at this point in time. And Sarah was just talking about, we can point out that rotation right near Zumbrota. That's where, again, when you look at velocity, you want to look at the bright greens and the bright reds. Okay, well, where is it the brightest at? That typically tells you where the strongest rotation is at. That is right near Zumbrota. Let's get closer to a street level view. Let's see how close we can get here with some of this rotation. I think the rotation is just to the north and northwest. So Wanamingo near Hayter, that's where you'll really want to get to your safe place. It's really crossing right across Highway 52 right now, just near Wanamingo and near Hayter. So get to your safe place. White Willow, head to your safe place at this point in time too. We do have a photo from our David Burgett. Let's pop that up. So that is from Freeborn County. So that was taken just before they went ahead and took some shelter with that line that is starting to make its way into Freeborn County. So a very active night that we have across southern Minnesota and northern Iowa. This is really just the beginning of it, as it will continue to move to the east here tonight, anywhere from about 50 to maybe 55 miles per hour. We really only have 2 warnings now. We have a severe thunderstorm warning stretching for portions of Steele into Dodge County. We have the tornado warning, and we'll stay on air as long as we have a tornado warning in effect. And really, we'll probably just stay on air until at least the bottom of the hour if that tornado warning is still in effect. They just reissued. Sarah, can you get the information on this warning, because they just popped another warning in that does include Freeborn, Steele, and then right up into the county line of Dodge County. So they just reissued a warning here. What's the information on that?
So the information on this one is hail size about 1 1/4.
Okay.
They're also looking at up to 60 mile per hour wind gusts, and based on this, it is for let's see here. I think I'm looking at the one that may be just on the northern side of that. That one for Rice, Steele, and into Goodhue County for that one. And that goes until 7 o'clock this evening. And now this newest one here, this one includes Waseca County, Steele County, Freeborn County, and portions of Faribault County just to our west. So this one is for $half size hail, that 1 1/4 inch hail, and 60 mile per hour wind gusts. This one is moving east at 50 miles per hour.
So moving east at 50 miles per hour. So Wells, New Richland, all involved in that. Blooming Prairie, you're right on the line. That does include Albert Lee, and then just west of Albert Lee where we have our David Burgett at this evening. So we'll try to pop in with David ever so often tonight. Guys in the control room, just let me know whenever he gets powered back up, when him and photographer Micah Hagan are in shelter. They're right along I-90 there. So some hail starting to make its way near I-35. Again, cells moving at about 50 miles per hour, so they are moving fairly quick tonight. And again, we'll see about the wind, and we still have a lot of energy out in front of these thunderstorms. So if you're wondering, okay, Nick, so as these storms continue to move east, are they moving into a favorable environment to stay strong? Or are they moving into a more stable environment? Well, here's a look at some of our temperatures. We still are at 77 in Mason City, 73 in Rochester, upper 70s in La Crosse. So very favorable atmosphere for these thunderstorms to move into and still withhold their strength. So I don't expect them to weaken much throughout the next couple of hours. My producer just told me that we have a Facebook viewer photo that we want to look at here. So this was from Susan Osborne in Dodge Center. So that is at 6:14. So looking at some of those ominous clouds that we have in the sky tonight as that line of thunderstorms continues to push to the east. So just looking at a wide view here, we have those severe thunderstorm warnings along I-90 and I-35, and we're starting to get some more development back off to the west, southwest. We have that tornado warning still for the next couple of minutes in portions of Goodhue County. We'll zoom into that here in a second. I still think we'll eventually have some development that is off to the south, and some of those cells, so stretching from Des Moines all the way up towards Mason City. We do have a tornado watch in those locations, so I would not be surprised if we end up seeing some type of development south of Highway 18 later on tonight. So that's why this is just kind of the beginning of what could potentially happen. We could have thunderstorms develop all along I-35, and then those continue to move to the east-northeast throughout the evening hours tonight. So that tornado watch still in effect until 11 p.m. tonight. It's only 6:18. 6:19 now. So we still have a ways to go, you could say, throughout the evening tonight. Let's get another look at that tornado warning that we have north of Highway 14 in Goodhue County. So right near Zumbrota. Even if you're downstream a little farther, so say Red Wing, even Lake City, I would head indoors, head to the basement, get away from windows, as we still have that warning that's in effect. Let's get the details on that warning. The warning is in effect until 6:30, so we still have another 10 minutes left of that warning. It is now 6:20, so this does include Goodhue, Zumbrota, Pine Island. Head your safe place. The last time we looked at velocity, the velocity was right near Kenyon, and it does look like it's just to the north, if not right near Zumbrota at this point in time. So some broad rotation. It has weakened a little bit, and the rotation has moved to the east now of Highway 52. So here's 52, the rotation now. Okay, perfect. The rotation is farther to the north of Zumbrota, so just north of Zumbrota is where we're seeing some of that rotation at. And I'm sure some of these winds are probably pretty strong embedded within this system. We're probably looking 40 to 60 miles per hour with some of those wind gusts that we'll have embedded in this tornado warned storm. If you're in Goodhue, Belchester, Bella Creek, even Hay Creek, Belvedere, you want to head to your safe place. I know maybe downstream along 58 here, you're not within the warning, but still head to your safe place. Goodhue in Goodhue County. This is right where the rotation is heading at this point in time. So we'll zoom in even a little closer here. White Willow, again, Clay Bank, we're right along 58 is where we have the strongest rotation at. So that's right near Goodhue. You'll want to get indoors. Again, you'll hear me say it over and over tonight. Head to that safe place. So if you're in a house, your basement, away from windows, you don't have a basement, interior room of your house that doesn't have windows, apartment complex, it should have a shelter. If there isn't a shelter, try to get to a stairwell if you're on some of those upper levels this evening when we have the warnings. So that's right along 52, moving east now of 52, and it's more broad in terms of the strength and in terms of the rotation, but I don't see them canceling this warning at any point in time. So that is right along Minnesota 58 there, so moving to the east-northeast of Zumbrota. I do think most of the rotation, if you're watching in, say, Pine Island, most of the rotation is well to your east and northeast. So it's north of Zumbrota, so you should be okay at least with that batch of rotation. I do want to just kind of run along the line of storms because in nature, linear storms, you'll have the quick spin-ups along the leading edge like we have in Goodhue County. We could see that happening near Dodge Center. So right along Highway 14, notice where we have the greens and all of a sudden we have a red and then green. That could be, again, a notch that is trying to spin. This looks concerning right along Minnesota 30 here, just west of Blooming Prairie. Would not be surprised at some point in time. So this is just east of Ellendale. Could have some weak rotation right to the east of Ellendale, south of Somerset. right along 30 and 35 there is where we could have some broad rotation. Again, I think we'll have some quick spin ups throughout most of the evening tonight. That is right near Summit. Sarah, would you agree? Well, that last scan looks a little weaker now, but again, some broad rotation in that portion just west there of Dodge County. Let's flip over to that next viewer photo that we have. And again, with this first alert day, that's in West Concord. We're looking at Gina there. Maybe a brief little, you can kind of see the cloud deck, the cloud base all the way down just above the treetop there. Maybe a shelf cloud. We'll see. We haven't had any photos yet of any type of shelf cloud. Let's see. David was in Alden. Okay, David was in Alden. There is some broad rotation. Let's flip back over. This is just west of Albert Lee. Maybe some broad rotation just right near David is at. So Leah, let me know. Leah's my producer back in the control room. Let me know when David is up. I do want to get a check-in with him to see what they're kind of seeing out in Alden. Okay, perfect. So we'll check in when he's up and running here and powered up. But some broad rotation again with that, and we'll just see that, I think, through a lot of this, just kind of analyzing things along this line. Maybe some more broad rotation just to the south and southwest. Again, you see these little notches, and I think if we flip over, I'll change this to reflectivity, and I bet in reflectivity, you have these little tiny notches. It's hard to see, but there's a little inflow there. That's where we kind of had some of that rotation. Notice, there it is. Look at that. All right, so there's the tornado warned cell. Someone let David know that I'm sure he knows already, but someone message him for me. There is a tornado warning now in effect for portions of Freeborn County, and that does include Albert Lee. So just analyzing it here live on television, calling it out to just before the National Weather Service issued it. So again, this is right along Minnesota 22 here. Broad rotation, but there's different pockets I was talking about even near Alden. Sarah, can you read what the warning, if you have that pulled up?
Yes,
Can you read where specifically the Weather Service is looking for that rotation?
So they're saying that this thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 5 miles west of Mansfield or 17 miles west of Albert Lee. And this storm is moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. They're also saying $half size hail with this as well. Okay.
We have our David Burgett standing by. Let's pop him up real quick. David, hopefully you can hear me. You are under a tornado warning where you're at in Alden. There's several different spots of rotation. So real quick, just tell me what you see. How raining, hard, wind, what do you have? Sirens?
Nick, there's no sirens at this point in Alden at the moment, but what we just did witness after my last live shot, we did see those clouds move on off more toward the east, and now as I'm talking right now, we're hearing those tornado sirens go off. What we were looking at, though, just a few moments ago was some rain come in, and my glasses are wet at this hour, but all these skies have went from gray to that yellow color. So, and we're having some cloud to cloud lightning strikes all across the skies at the moment, and some scud clouds. Just taking a look right now, I'm not seeing any rotation at the moment, but we are seeing what it looks like some clouds coming up to some stalled clouds, that is. But other than that, we're just seeing some other scud clouds on the lower deck of those clouds, and not any rotation from what I could see at the moment, even off in the distance on the horizon. So at least what I can tell is that there's cloud-to-cloud strikes at the moment for the lightning, and we do have those tornado sirens going off, and we are having just some breezy conditions still after that brief moment of rain.
Hey, David,
so that's what we're looking at the moment.
David, can you hear me?
Yes. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you guys get in position where you can look south, and that is where the rotation is at where you're at. So it's just south of I-90 is where the rotation is at. So take a second, peek for us and see and look south, and then head inside the shelter, and then we'll come back to you. All right.
Okay.
All right,
I'll do that right now.
Perfect. All right, so our David Burgett is going to peek at the rotation. This is where I would say, again, the sirens are going off in Alden. Fantastic. Everything is going perfectly in terms of setting the warnings right, and then the storm sirens. This is probably where the main threat would be at. So that is just down to the south-southwest of where David is at. And actually, I have a ruler, and we can actually see, so then I can tell him how far away I think the worst rotation is at. So about 8, David, if you can still hear me, the rotation is about 8 miles to the south-southwest of where you're located at. So that is right along I-90. That is to the south and southwest. There could be some weak rotation right near Alden, and that's why I talked about it, the quick spin-ups, right? So this is more of a street level view. Could have some real weak rotation just to the south of I-90 here. So I think that says County Road 46. Maybe it's hard to read different things.
46.
46, okay. It's hard at the green screen sometimes to read that small text. So that is just south of Alden. Now I want to go over to where I think the worst rotation is at. That's right near Walters. So again, a more street level view, right near Walters is where we have this, at least the most significant rotation within this Warren cell that is moving into Freeborn County. So Sarah, what time does that warning expire?
That warning goes until 7 o'clock tonight.
Okay, so that warning until 7 o'clock. There is a severe thunderstorm warning associated with that too. So they did warn that for 1.25 inch hail size. So that tornado warning, that does include Alden into Albert Lee until 7 o'clock. So until the top of the hour, still 30 minutes left of that. Our Brock Burgee is standing by here tonight too with this team coverage. As we wrap up the news at 6 o'clock tonight, we will continue with severe weather coverage this evening. For right now though, I want to send it over to Brock as he has some more information to pass along. Brock.
Nick, Sarah, thank you so much, and we will go back to them as soon as we need to if there are any urgent developments. A few housekeeping issues here, if you will allow me here. First of all, we appreciate the viewer photos, right? It gives you an idea of what we're seeing in our communities. We cover a large area here in southeast Minnesota and northeast Iowa, but please, and this is very important, please make sure you're putting your safety first. Everyone loves to have that photo that speaks volumes to what's going on, but your safety is paramount and our top priority, and that is why we are in special first alert weather coverage for you here this evening at KTTC. If you are expecting to see regular programming at this time, we have a very active weather situation, and we will stay with you throughout the duration of this first alert weather event. We appreciate you choosing your trusted news leader for this weather information. So again, photos welcomed, but please take them as you are in a safe space and taking caution as warranted. We appreciate them, but want you to be safe. Couple of things, because terminology matters, right? So when we're talking about a tornado warning, what does that mean? Well, a tornado warning means that a tornado has been either sighted or indicated by weather radar. So the situation we're talking about right now in Freeborn County, where our David Burgett is located, and we'll be going back to him in a moment, tornado warning, right? So that means, according to the National Weather Service, there is imminent danger to both life and property. And as Nick has been alluding to here, this is the time, folks, if you are in these areas, to not be looking outside your window. You need to be going to your safe space and doing what you need to do to protect yourself and your family. Second point I want to bring up. I mentioned we cover a large viewing area. So, well, right now in Rochester, we are not under a warning at this time, Rochester being our largest city. And we understand that some of you might wonder why we are on air right now. That is because we serve a much larger area, and our viewers in these other counties deserve the same amount of attention as our fine folks here in Rochester, Mason City, Albert Lee, Austin, Winona, Decorah, Cresco. The list goes on and on. We have a lot of responsibility to make sure everyone is safe, and that is why we will continue to do this. Nick has also mentioned this. We have several digital platforms to stay safe as well. Right now we have our forecaster Derek Overland doing a live stream for us on our streaming service. You can tune in there. If you do lose power, that's your go-to source on your telephone or on your telephone. Look at me. I'm speaking my age here. On your cell phone. I still don't think you can get a live stream on a regular rotary phone. At least I don't think so. But that's a place you can go. And then we have our weather app, which you can download and get alerts for real-time information. So that's a little bit of a review, if you will, about what we have going on for you here and why we are doing what we are doing. Again, we appreciate you tuning to us. We know you have a choice, and it's our pleasure to provide you with this information. We certainly hope the worst is avoided, but if the worst should happen, we want you to be prepared, and that is why Nick, Sarah, Ted, David, Derek, our First Alert weather team, we have you covered. We're going to go back now to Nick for the latest as he continues to track this developing situation. Nick.
All right, thanks for that, Brock. As we still have that tornado warning in effect for Freeborn County. Our David Burgett, he did go ahead and take shelter as we have some rotation and some pretty nasty lightning across that cell in Freeborn County. We did see at the bottom of the hour at 6:30 to update things. They did cancel that tornado warning. They let it expire at 6:30 for portions of Goodhue County. They did extend. Okay. We want to pop David up. All right, David, looks a little wet there.
Nick, yeah, I am a little bit wet here in Alden right now. We have seen continuous loud roaring thunder over the last few minutes or so. Heavy downpours now. Tornado sirens have been going off. I tried to look for the rotation as you suggested. Did not see that rotation though, but heavy downpours are what's happening right now, and along with those frequent lightning strikes. So definitely the time to get to shelter, seek shelter if you're out and about right now, and get to your safe place, because we are seeing these storms roll through, and it's definitely what went out there, Nick.
Yes, David, and I kind of mentioned, I'm sorry that you're super wet, but I have mentioned tonight that
okay.
We would have really heavy rainfall. So wherever we have the rotation at, and I know you can't see it, but I have rotation popped up. I have velocity on the double box with us here, David, as that rotation is just about 8 miles to the south-southwest of your location. So I want to walk everyone through something real quick. So you're a trained meteorologist. You know how to spot these things. Right now, if you were to look to your southwest, could you see the rotation?
I'm looking off to the southwest right now, and all I see is gray skies and rainfall at the moment.
Exactly. So it'll be very hard to see any type of rotation throughout the evening tonight. That's why it's not even worth trying to go get a photo, a video of it. If we do have tornado warnings towards Rochester or farther east, it is not worth it here tonight. David, try to go inside for a little bit and try to dry off for us.
Okay.
All right, thanks, David. All right, so we do have some more rotation just to the east now of Alden. So this is near Clark's Grove, and just notice, so that last radar sweep, that rotation would be just south of I-90. So thankfully, just south of Alden, of where David is at. So again, that tornado warning in effect until 10 o'clock, or until 7 o'clock tonight. We do have some more rotation, some weak rotation just near Clark's Grove, just to the west of that, right along 13 here is where we could have some minor rotation. This is all heading towards Albert Lee. So let's put a track on this. Sarah, how fast is this cell moving here?
That one is moving northeast at 40 miles per hour.
Okay, so this one, at least the bottom edge, only moving at 40. So let's adjust this, and then we'll zoom out. I want to put a track on this to let everybody know in Albert Lee, because this is heading their way. So we'll get a time just on this as it kind of moves off to the north-northeast here. Hopefully I made that big enough. So looking at Albert Lee, so time now is 6:37, so you still have about 12 minutes left. Leah, what did you say? Oh, photo. Let's pop up that photo. Leah, where's this photo at? This is from Dodge Center. So this is from Phil in Dodge Center. Again, those ominous-looking clouds that'll continue to push to the east tonight. So I'm sure a lot of people seeing some scary-looking clouds off to the west. We do have another spot of maybe some possible rotation right near Blooming Prairie. No warning associated with this yet, but we were able to call out the rotation that's near Alden, right near David in Freeborn County. We'll see if there's some weak rotation, maybe right along 30 here near Blooming Prairie. So we'll keep an eye on that. That's just down to the south and southwest there of Dodge Center. Right now, no other tornado warnings. We do have severe thunderstorm warnings, and I do just want to take a look at what our wind speed is. Because I do think there's some strong wind starting to move into northern Wabasha and getting into that eastern half there of Goodhue and in northeastern Wabasha County. So you can kind of see just bows out just slightly. So some strong wind potentially moving into Lake City. Some of those bright red colors maybe indicating some of those wind speeds maybe approaching, say, 60 miles per hour. Sometimes radar's a little off when we start to look at this. So 43 miles per hour. With maybe a gust there, and try to get a couple different spots, 23. So again, you're probably looking at maybe anywhere from 30 to maybe 60 miles per hour, some embedded wind gusts with that part of the cell. I want to zoom all the way out, so if you're tuning in from, say, Mason City, Charles City, you can kind of get a good idea of what to expect here through the next couple of hours. So this line of thunderstorms continues to move to the east-northeast, and we are getting some development back down to the south-southwest on this line too. And I kind of mentioned that we could see some development maybe stretching towards about Fort Dodge, towards Waterloo later tonight, closer towards about 7:30. Maybe we could see the potential for that. We do have that severe thunderstorm warning then, so most of the warnings north of Highway 14 and then west of Highway 52. So nothing into Rochester yet. That'll change probably by maybe 7:30 here tonight. So we're still looking at maybe about another 30 to 60 minutes or so for some of these warnings to start to make their way towards Rochester. And I'm sure too, if the guys in the control room, if you can let me know too, any of our sky cams that we have, I can see one kind of off onto the distance here. Maybe that's looking to the north. Just let me know. I don't have lightning on at this point in time, but I'm sure there's a lot of lightning embedded with a lot of these thunderstorms, and they're just starting to get into, say, northern Olmsted County. A lot of lightning within this line, and actually we can get a reading on just how many lightning strikes are happening right now. So a lot of lightning. We're looking at a number of strikes, 640 lightning strikes that we have here along this line. So continuing to move to the east at about anywhere from 40 to 60 miles per hour. So we will get another look at that tornado warning that we have in Freeborn County, as that is still in effect until the top of the hour. And I'll turn it over to Sarah Gannon to go through some of those details. Sarah?
And Nick, I do have something in here from the National Weather Service on damage reports. This is they're saying it's a delayed report. This is coming from one of the spotters out Faribault between Gates and Jacobs Avenue. So this is between Faribault and Kenyon on Highway 60, kind of within that general area there. Barn destroyed, silos destroyed, semi tipped over, no injuries. Law enforcement is on scene.
Where was that at again?
There is an exact address in here, but this is between Gates and Jacobs Avenue. So if I can remember my Highway 60 geography, that would be probably about 4 or 5 miles, maybe at most, outside of Kenyon, heading towards Faribault.
So you're looking at Goodhue County then?
That would be Rice County at that point.
In the Rice County. Okay. Go ahead and walk us through the details of this tornado warning we have.
Okay. So the tornado warning that we have for Faribault and Freeborn County. Let me get the latest update here on this one. This warning remains in effect until 7 o'clock here this evening. This is radar indicated rotation at this point in time, but obviously we've seen with the various scans here over the last handful of minutes some impressive rotation with that. So I will flip this back over to velocity so we can get a good look at that. This does include the city of Albert Lea. So folks in Albert Lea, there may not be thunder at this point in time in the city. You can probably hear it in the distance. No rain at this point in time for the city, but this is your moment now. Head to your safe spot. This is the time to be seeking shelter. So folks in Clarks Grove, Glenville, Nunda, Alden, you need to be in your safe spot seeking shelter. Folks towards Keister also needing to be in your safe spot. Walters as well. We continue to watch this possible rotation near the Conger area, just south of that Alden area. So again, we're continuing to watch potentially some very strong winds on that leading edge, that possibility for that rotation, hence why we have that tornado warning. And again, this warning goes until 7 o'clock here for tonight. And at the time that this was issued, that was located 5 miles west of Mansfield, or about 17 miles west of Albert Lea. Things now have continued to push to the east-northeast there. So again, still radar indicated at this point in time. And this storm moving to the northeast at 40 miles per hour. So let's try and do a track on that one. We'll put this from about Clarks Grove just to the east of Keister, moving to the northeast, that in that direction. So here over the next 45 minutes or so. So again, Albert Lea, this will be on your doorstep here pretty soon. Probably in the next 5 to 15 minutes, depending on where you are in town. We'll look at Bancroft here in the next couple of minutes as well. Hayfield area as we continue to stretch up in that direction. That'll be here on your doorstep pretty soon as well. So let's continue to take a look at some of other areas of rotation here along this leading edge that we'll continue to watch. Still seeing that potential for some very strong winds as we see these thunderstorms rolling from Goodhue County into Wabasha County here. So folks towards Lake City, potentially some very strong winds in that direction. We'll continue to monitor that potential for maybe any possible rotation, but something we're keeping an eye on there. We do continue to have a severe thunderstorm warning for the Wabasha area. A lot of lightning. I'm going to flip the lightning off here, and I am going to go back to more of a view here of Minnesota. So again, this warning here that we have for Wabasha County, this is in effect until 7:15, so about another half hour on this one. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and hail up to an inch in diameter, so about quarter size. We continue with our severe thunderstorm warning for Goodhue County. We'll see if I can get the system here to want to grab it. It doesn't want to. So we'll grab those multiples here. So this one for Goodhue County also staying in effect until 7:15 here this evening. This does extend across the river into Pepin County, Wisconsin. And then we continue to monitor our 2 severe thunderstorm warnings for along the I-35 county, which includes Steele County. There's also one that includes Steele and Freeborn County. That goes until 7 o'clock here this evening. And just to our south, this now includes just to the, probably including portions of Forest City, but that one is for Winnebago County. So that one is new here. So let's see if I can get some information on that one. Okay, so this one just coming in here from the National Weather Service just a couple minutes ago, but folks in Kossuth County, Winnebago County under a severe thunderstorm warning until 7:30 here this evening for quarter-size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. This stays in effect until 7:30. Now this one does have a tornado possible tag because this has been that area that we've been able to see some of those notches, even seeing some of those those tornado warnings being produced as well. So another area of concern, folks, towards Buffalo Center, Forest City. You need to be heading to your safe spot here this evening, heading into shelter. We'll zoom in a little bit here. Lake Mills also in that warning. Looks like National Weather Service may be just updating that tornado warning for Freeborn County. So I'll see if I can get any new
Yeah, it looks like they just
information.
they shaved some of it off.
Yep, they canceled it for Faribault County. So they are still continuing it until 7 o'clock for
Portions of Freeborn. So
Freeborn
that does
County, yep.
include Albert Lee. So again,
Yes.
until the top of the hour is where we'll have that warning.
And this actually looks like it's slowed down a little bit, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour now.
Okay. It's interesting. So, you know, storms kind of going back and forth between moving anywhere from 40 to 50 to now down to 30 to 35 miles per hour. Rotation pretty broad, but it is near Albert Lee. You could see something maybe right near Manchester too. So a couple different pockets of some broad rotation. Just kind of point those out. So looking here, and then again right along that leading edge into Albert Lee. So again, head to your safe place. We saw David. You don't want to be standing out into the rain and getting soaked. So make sure to stay inside, head to your safe place. Again, this warning in effect for the next 11 minutes until the top of the hour. So that's the one tornado warning that we have. There are some areas of concern, though. I had mentioned that area of concern right near Blooming Prairie. Well, I still see some broad rotation on radar here right near Blooming Prairie. So this is just west. This would be right in this location where we could see some broad rotation again just to the west of Blooming Prairies, right along 30 there and 218, and just to the southeast of Summit. So that's where we could have some broad rotation. In terms of that cell, that will move in to portions of Dodge County, so right along Minnesota 30 there. So we'll keep an eye on that. Otherwise, I did get a couple viewer photos in northwest Rochester. And yeah, could see some minor rotation. Go ahead.
Yeah, Derek was just letting me know that maybe some possible rotation towards the Orinoco area, but also some hail being reported in Zembro Falls.
Okay, so Derek just came in and talked about the rotation Orinoco. So that's essentially where we're looking at this point in time. So just south of Pine Island and maybe just north of Rochester is where we could have some minor rotation. We'll see on this here. Let's zoom in even farther. So right near Orinoco, can we get our sky cams? Can you guys point those farther to the north along 52? I just want to see if I can. Perfect. I want to see if I can see anything on sky cam here. So a concerning spot, very broad. So nothing yet. So we'll see if this can tighten up or not. Let's pop up that sky cam. Let's just look. So this is looking north on 52. It'll be really hard to see that far north, but you can see all the lightning off into the distance. So that's, at least right now in Olmsted County, that would be the one spot that we could probably watch to see if that rotation can tighten up a little bit. Let's flip back over to max 1 here. So that velocity is just north of Rochester, so kind of in between Rochester and Orinoco. Again, zoom in even farther here. So we're looking at right near Highway 52, there's 63, so that 52-63 interchange is just north of that. So Sarah, help me out there. Is that 85th Street?
85th Street Northwest.
So 85th Street Northwest is where we would probably see the best chance at some rotation. It's really just south of Orinoco. So right in this region here is where we would see the best chance for some rotation. So that's northern Olmsted County. And again, just like we did before, I'm just going to go up and down the line of thunderstorms to see if we can get some type of rotation. And it's funny, we're in between two different radar sites, so that's why you see velocity change. So here's La Crosse, and then there's Chanhassen in the Twin Cities, so that's why it kind of changes a little bit. I don't see too much in terms of rotation, at least close to West Albany or maybe towards Wabasha, Lake City. That's pretty broad. We'll watch that, though, over the next 10 to 15 minutes and see what happens with that. Let's go back to the warned cell that we have. And really, that's a concerning spot, too, in southern Dodge. So we'll watch. There's 3 different areas that I think we can keep a close eye on. I haven't looked in northern Iowa. I do know that there is some activity, or at least we're expecting to see some activity back off to the south, but it does look like the only warned cell for a tornado is still the one that is approaching Albert Lee. Unless if the Weather Service, is there any chatter in the chat there?
Not that I've seen for northern Iowa, but I did see a report here of some possible quarter-size hail, maybe west of Casson.
Okay. Yeah, let's go back. We'll look at the hail core here and just see. There's some of the hail. That's probably closer to around dime size. We do have a hail core right near Buffalo Center. We did have some brief rotation near Buffalo Center at one point in time. So that's moving towards Winnebago, Hancock counties.
You can see the shelf cloud on one of our cameras, Nick.
The skies are pretty dark. Let's flip over to that camera, Drew, if we can. So here's the approaching storm system that we can see here on our sky cam. I wouldn't be surprised. You can see the cloud deck. There's probably embedded in there a shelf cloud. And David was using some terminology because I know Brock said, hey, why don't you explain Scud? Scud is low-hanging clouds that's not connected to the actual thunderstorm, the base of it, the lower cloud deck. So it can look concerning a lot of times, but it's actually not connected with the actual thunderstorm itself. I don't see any Scud, at least way off into the distance at this point in time, but you can definitely see a rain shaft here, and that is all moving off to the east. Let's look at some of those viewer photos that we have across the region here. Again, thank you for everyone sending us updates here. Again, we rely on this type of stuff to see what's actually happening down towards the surface. There's Jackie from Northwest Rochester. You can see those real dark clouds in Northwest Rochester. We have another one here to look at. We have George near Byron. Kind of see a shelf cloud trying to form there in Byron. And notice, see how it's really dark gray back behind those clouds. That's that heavy rainfall that we saw out there in Alden with our David Burgett. So thanks for everyone sending in those photos. Again, we really appreciate those reports. Just make sure you're being safe while trying to get those pictures and those reports from us. Flipping back over to the weather computer here. So this is near Buffalo Center. So I clicked right there in that hail core. So ping pong ball size hail. So you're looking maybe close to 1.5 inches, maybe just over 1.25 inches in diameter in terms of your hail. I did just get a message from Lucy, some pea-sized hail, heavy rainfall in the upper northeast corner there of Dodge County. So there's a live, thanks for sending. You can always send reports. I got my phone right here, so if you want. Okay, we have another live look. Let's pop, where is this at?
This is out of our newsroom.
So this is out of our newsroom right now.
Looking out the window.
So it's a little hard because I see Ethan a lot, but some really dark clouds that are moving into Northwest Rochester. So expect some thunderstorms moving in here fairly soon. Still no updates on whether or not we'll see some of that rotation. And we don't have any warnings right now in Dodge or in Olmsted. We do have that severe thunderstorm warning into portions of Steele and Freeborn, and we still have that tornado warning until the top of the hour. They'll probably just let that tornado warning go to the top of the hour. Now, I will say, if there are no tornado warnings, we will send you back to regular scheduled programming, and then we'll be in and out of coverage as we have warnings progress throughout the night tonight. We have another camera shot here to maybe get to. There we go. So that's a look right outside. That is right on Bandle. So you can see those dark clouds starting to move in, and you can kind of see a rain shaft. If you look your far left corner, notice how it gets a pretty dark and gray there. That's that heavy rainfall that eventually moved through. All right, so flipping back over to velocity, I still see some rotation right near Blooming Prairie and Hayfield. So I'm a little surprised that we we don't have a warning at this point in time. It's kind of broad, but I mean, they warned the broad rotation in Freeborn County, so we'll see what the National Weather Service in La Crosse does here. Blooming Prairie, Hayfield, right along Minnesota 30, and this is just south of Dodge Center. There is some rotation, and there would be rotation here and maybe potentially here, and some weak rotation right near Blooming Prairie. No warning yet, right, Sarah? There's no warning, and just making sure that
no, nothing here on chat,
something.
and I continue to keep an eye on that here, flipping back and forth to see if there's anything that they're seeing.
So here's the difference between the two radar sites. So this is from Chanhassen, and then as I switch it over to La Crosse, it looks a lot different. So we'll keep an eye. Here's some thunder now at the studio, but right near Hayfield, maybe some weak rotation. Could even have some weak rotation still towards Byron and that northern half there of Rochester. So that's right near Valley High Road Northwest. Maybe some very weak rotation. No warnings or anything like that just quite yet in Rochester. So we still have about 2 minutes left of that warning. That is for Albert Lee, so we'll at least be on air for 2 more minutes. Since we're still on air, let's run through the rest of the night tonight. So temperatures, we'll check on temperatures here to make sure we're still looking at that moisture that we have in the atmosphere. So we're still in the 70s, 75 in Mason City. I mean, it's still 80 in Spencer. So that the frontal boundary is still well to the west. So we'll wait as that front continues to push to the east here. We still have a lot of moisture for those thunderstorms to continue to stay strong here. Those threats tonight remain: some spin-up tornadoes, looking at some hail and some strong wind and some heavy rainfall. Just looking then at future track, we will get that up. Go ahead, Leah. I didn't hear you. Sorry. I think my IFB died. So we are looking at timing-wise for those thunderstorms. We're still at about 8 o'clock here tonight with those storms that will continue to move to the east. Sarah, I want you to run through future track for us here. I'm going to go grab another battery for my IFB, but I'll have you run us through what we could maybe see through the rest of the night.
Sounds good. Okay, so looking ahead here for the rest of tonight, I still think we continue on with our linear line that we have been seeing so far this evening. I think that continues here as these thunderstorms continue to push to the east. So putting things into motion, we'll still continue to see that potential there for those linear line of thunderstorms. We'll have to continue to watch for that potential of maybe some additional thunderstorms developing just southwest of our area in Iowa, gradually making their way through northern Iowa. So that means maybe more storms possible through the Mason City area, through Charles City, heading it towards the Decorah region. So I think we still see some thunderstorm activity throughout our area through about 9 at 10 o'clock here this evening. I think maybe even still watching for some additional redevelopment back behind that. So still continue to see that threat for some strong to severe thunderstorms through about 11 o'clock midnight tonight. And then I think after midnight, we still have that potential here for some additional thunderstorms during the overnight. But I do think after about midnight, 1 a.m., I think we should gradually begin to dry out, and we'll see those thunderstorms continue to push east. But I do think that greatest severe threat continuing to stick with us throughout southeast Minnesota, northeast Iowa through about 10, 11 o'clock here tonight, but some thunderstorm activity still possible through about midnight or so. And then the good news is then we'll gradually begin to dry out overnight. So waking up then for your Tuesday morning, I think we're looking to be setting things off on more of a quieter foot there for the weather pattern, then shaping up for the rest of the upcoming week. So that's kind of what we're tracking as we look ahead here for the next few hours into very early tomorrow morning. Nick?
All right, thanks, Sarah. We'll go back to radar real quick as we are at now 7:01. That tornado warning has expired, and I just want to go through this line. Just make sure that we don't see any other pockets of rotation that might get warned. This line will continue to move to the east. Now, there was a couple different spots that looked a little concerning, especially in portions in southern Dodge County. Pretty weak, it's still there near Hayfield. So we'll monitor that, and then I'm not seeing too much in terms of anything too significant In Rochester right now, there could be some real broad, weak rotation, maybe just to the east, but you see that last radar scan. It's not that impressive at this point in time. So what we'll do here, since we just have a couple severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect right now, we'll run through the warnings real quick, and then we'll send you back to your regular scheduled programming. For this evening, we have some warnings to the north of Rochester, so that's in Wabasha, Goodhue counties, those in effect until 7:15 tonight. Further west, as these storms continue to move I-35 and east, we have warnings in Freeborn County and Steele until 7:30. And then in northern Iowa, that does include Buffalo Center, until 7:30 here tonight. We will have you covered. Our forecaster, Derek Overland, he will continue to stay live tonight tracking these storms on our website at KTTC.com and on our Facebook page at KTTC TV. For now, we'll send you back to regular scheduled programming. We will break in when necessary throughout the evening tonight. We'll send you to that.
We just had Nick Jansen covering our severe weather coverage there, as we had a few tornado warnings in there. Now we're not seeing those tornado warnings currently, and we are just having a line of these severe thunderstorms, and we'll continue. We're going to continue to be watching these thunderstorms move through, as we could have another resurgency in some strong thunderstorms, and we could have the chance for some more spin-ups like Nick has mentioned. If we do have any more of those spin-ups, we will go back to wall-to-wall coverage. Let's take another look kind of at what we were looking at here with velocity, and it has gotten a little bit better with some of that rotation throughout the area where we did have those areas of concern. So that is some good news there. We'll continue to watch this and give you updates as we go. So let's take another look at our radar. Couple severe thunderstorm warnings, one in Goodhue County, getting into the Wisconsin part of the Mississippi River here. Let's take a look at our different warnings. So the first one we'll go after here is our severe thunderstorm warning in Wabasha County. This is until 7:15 p.m. We have 60-mile-per-hour winds and 1-inch size hail. So let's take a look at that hail. And here are a couple hail cores. We'll zoom in, one just to the north of Wabasha towards the Mississippi River, and then we have another one on Highway 60 towards West Albany, Hammond, getting all the way down to Potsdam there in northern Olmsted County. So a little bit of some small hail. We'll take a look at how big this is. We're looking at penny-sized hail. And then take another look at radar. We'll go to the next warning, which is in Albert Lea. We just had that tornado warning. Now is not a tornado warning, just a severe thunderstorm warning. We'll take a look at that hail core. I know we did get reports of hail in Albert Lea, about marble size hail, so around that nickel size, might be growing a little bit. Let's take a look at this large size hail, still at nickel. So nickel, radar indicated nickel size hail in Albert Lea, towards Bancroft, getting towards Clark's Grove. Bancroft, you're probably seeing some of that large nickel sized hail there. We even zoom in a little bit farther here, so looking in just north of Albert Lea on the northern side of Albert Lee, kind of tracking right along I-90. So that would be over where the Applebee's is, the Hy-Vee is where that's at. So the airport would be right around here. So that's where that large hail core is, or the largest hail core is at. It's a just nickel-sized hail there. We'll continue to monitor that. We have some larger hail just to the south towards Keister, and this one is mainly in northern Iowa. Oh, last scan just took it out. There we go. So just penny-sized hail there, all the way from Keister to, we got Mansfield, all the way down to Buffalo Center in County Road 9. So. And that last scan did take out some of that hail in the Albert Lee cell, so that's some good news there as well. Looks like there's a little hail core. I saw a couple of those comments. We did have some hail towards Casson. Here's where that hail core is sitting at right now and what that looks like. Heading towards the Byron area, we have dime-sized hail, radar indicated there, and that will track east and make its way across Highway 14 towards Byron, where you may see some dime-sized hail. But right now, that is our severe threat. Take another look at radar. Plenty of lightning. There is a lot of lightning. I know we saw David's live hit there, and there was you got really wet there. There was a lot of rain. So plenty of rain, plenty of lightning in these thunderstorms. The more the lightning there is, the stronger the storm can be. And so that's something that we are keeping a close eye on as these strong thunderstorms roll on through. And now just starting to get into the Rochester area. We'll take a zoom in towards Rochester. I know Orinoco is seeing some heavy rainfall right now. We have some rain in the northwest portion of Rochester, getting in towards, let's see, about West Circle Drive there, where we're starting to see some heavy rainfall. So the northwest portion there, even a little lightning strike there just to the north. So we'll continue to see this track out. Let's do a loop radar. Let's loop this and see where this is going. So it looks like yep. Looks like if we have that hail core, it's going right around Byron right now with that heavier rain. Let's look at how much, what the size is. Dime-sized hail still. So it's still small hail, but it's hail nonetheless. That is some good news. It looks like our hail cores are starting to die out a little bit. So that is some good news. Storms still look pretty strong. So we're still seeing strong storms track across. But at least those hail cores, at least radar indicated, look like they are starting to fizzle out a little bit. So we'll see if the rest of the thunderstorm, the strongest part of the thunderstorm, starts to fizzle out too. But with how our dew points are, let's take a look at those dew points. How our dew points are, we still have plenty of energy in this dark green. The lighter green is where we already had some thunderstorms. We may see some of these thunderstorms move in towards these darker greens, and then we can have, again, kind of that more fuel for those thunderstorms. So still a couple severe thunderstorm warnings. We'll take a look at this warning in Albert Lee. So this is moving east at 45 miles per hour. This will expire at 7:30 tonight for 60 mile per hour wind gusts and $half size hail. So there is some large hail in there. I think that's a little bit outdated because we have seen that hail core kind of die out a little bit. Let's kind of check that hail core again and see if there's another scan. Looks to be some smaller hail now, so that is some good news. We'll take a look there. Penny-sized hail. Let's get this one towards southwest Freeborn County. Another one that has penny-sized hail, so another one that with smaller hail in it. So just a couple severe thunderstorms. Same with our severe thunderstorms in our Wabasha County, getting into some portions of Goodhue County. Just seeing some small hail in these thunderstorms. So again, another penny-sized hail. And now that we know how fast, right now these thunderstorms are moving at about 45 miles per hour to the east. So we can get kind of a time frame of when these are going to happen. So let's, and how fast they're going to move through. So let's get let's try this big line here. Tracking east. All right, so we have Rochester at 7:18. We're already probably, some of us already seeing some thunderstorms. In Winona, 8:11. La Crosse getting in towards 9:07. So it gets across the Mississippi River around 9 o'clock, at least for the Minnesota portion. We could still have this bottom part of the thunderstorm kind of linger on a little bit later too. That's why we have that threat all the way till 11. We may even see this linger on all the way until around that midnight hour. So let's track things out on FutureTrack and kind of get an idea, better idea of what these look like. And here's what FutureTrack has. Kind of has a good handle on these thunderstorms. And we'll go a little bit farther. Around 8 p.m., we're still seeing thunderstorms between I-35 and Highway 52, reaching Wabasha County too. So still seeing thunderstorms. Could be a couple strong thunderstorms still in there. Notice that. We kind of keep that going. And then there was a little resurgency there around the 10 o'clock hour. See that little line there? Did a little rewind back there. And just around I-90, even towards Owatonna, Austin, Preston, all the way down to Mason City, a little line there of some more thunderstorms towards around the 10:30 time frame. So that's something to keep in mind. Eventually, as we go into that midnight hour, we're pretty much done. There could be a couple spotty showers left over, but then we're pretty much over with it, and we'll have some nice conditions for our Tuesday coming up. And looking at the rest of the week, we'll have some really nice conditions. So here is our precipitation forecast throughout the rest of the week. Very quiet, just a couple straight chances for some showers. Wednesday night into Thursday, we could see a couple showers for our Thursday. So just got to get through today, got to get through tonight, which we're seeing a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings. We had a couple tornado warnings in there, but just got to get through tonight, and we're going to have some quieter conditions throughout the rest of the week. Just a couple of rain chances Wednesday night and into Thursday. We'll take a look at our 7-day forecast really quick here, and then we'll look back at radar. So 7-day forecast, we have really just those quiet conditions throughout the rest of the week. Plenty of sunshine, just a couple rain chances Wednesday night, and then into Thursday could have a couple rain chances there. So now let's take a look back at our radar and see if there are any updates, if any warnings have been taken away, or it looks like the warnings in Wabasha County and Goodhue County are expired. They were let to expire as our hail core has weakened. That is some very good news that our hail core is starting to weaken. Let's take a look and see what this is sitting at. I'm going to try and get that blue there. So still penny-sized hail. So it's decent-sized hail. That's moving in towards Plainview, between West Albany and Plainview. Yeah, Millville probably had that hail. And now continue to track east. We have that little bit of hail towards Byron. Remember, we were looking at that. That was that hail core that impacted Casson. There was a couple comments in the Facebook live stream where we had some hail reported in the Casson area. That's the same hail core here in Byron and Calmer, where we do have some of that hail. Once again, I think this one's going to be dime-sized hail. It is. So dime-sized hail that is heading, let's get some arrows here. That is heading east towards Rochester. So that is towards the Rochester area. So keep that in mind. We could see a little bit of some hail in the western portions of Rochester. We have just, looks like this warning now. Only the warning in Freeborn County, a little bit of Steele County in there, where we do have a severe thunderstorm warning still. That is our only warning right now. And so that is some very good news. So this will expire again 7:30 tonight. 60-mile-per-hour winds, 1 inch and a quarter size hail. So that's roughly about $half size hail. And again, we'll be expiring on 7:30 here tonight. And that is for Faribault, Freeborn, and Steele. We do have some of that rain. We'll take another look at velocity. I don't think we're going to see it. Well, I didn't think we were going to see a little too much, but it does look like we have a little bit of sound coming in towards the Glenville area. Hayward, too, kind of stretching all the way down here. Even a little bit of maybe a... kind of want to look back at radar. I want to see if this is correlating with what we have on radar. It is a little bit, so sometimes they can get a little bit ahead of themselves, and that might be another area of concern. That's the same, this is the same area that was tornado warned a little bit ago. That's the kind of that same, I think that same spot of rotation. There's another one, yeah, a little bit. There's a different scan there. We went to the La Crosse station there. Yeah, a little bit. That's not very, I don't think that's really enough. It might be trying to get something going near Rockdale, but very weak, if anything. And then that one little bit of rotation that we were watching that moved through northwest Rochester, that one's just this little speck now. So that has weakened too, so some very good news there. So there's the different scans. So this one comes from, I know Nick was talking about it on his weather coverage. We had this scan that's coming from the Twin Cities. You can kind of see a little dome right up here coming from the Twin Cities. And then if I move just a little bit slightly over, our dome switches to the La Crosse National Weather Service. You can see it right over here. So kind of the difference in the scans. For the Albert Lee area, we would be using the National Weather Service in the Twin Cities radar. So this is the correct one. Going to be watching that. I know we don't have a tornado warning, but that is something to possibly watch. It looks like we have another severe thunderstorm warning just around Wabasha again, kind of getting into that southern portion of Wabasha and moving in towards Kellogg, Buffalo City, towards Highway 61. Let's get the readings on that. So this will expire. This is for Buffalo County and Wabasha County until 8 o'clock tonight. So about 40 minutes left on this warning for 60-mile-per-hour winds and 1-inch sized hail. Take a look at that hail core. I know it looked like it was weakening a little bit. It wasn't as strong as it was, but it is balling up a little bit. We'll see how penny-sized hail. Stretching all the way from getting to the northern portion of Plainview and then Glasgow. So Thielman starting to see, and then this is going to continue to move east here. I'll get some arrows on here towards Kellogg, Topa. So just keep that in mind here. So I want to take another look at the severe thunderstorm warning, moving east at 50 miles per hour. So let's get this listed here for 50 miles per hour, and we can get a little timetable for when you can expect storms. We'll go right here where it's kind of red, kind of stretch it around here. So here are some time frames that you could see. Kellogg, 7:28, and then eventually heading towards Wisconsin. So just a few cities in there where we could see this severe thunderstorm warning. We're looking at Kellogg, Watopa, going all the way up to Wabasha, and then crossing the Mississippi River. Let's take another look back at our Albert Lee severe thunderstorm. I don't think this one's been updated too much. It expires at 7:30, 60 mile per hour winds, 1.25 inch size hail, so about $0.5 sized hail. Let's take another look at that hail core. Hail core really weakening now. Really weakening Albert Lee, but we have this hail core that I just noticed. Towards nickel-sized hail. And this is the one that's heading towards Kellogg, Glasgow. And then eventually crossing into the Mississippi River here shortly. So we'll kind of wait for our next scan to come out. Because I think that was a little outdated, because it kind of looks like the hail core, looking at radar, the hail core is about right here. So that could be a little bit old. Maybe not. Looks like we're seeing some hail kind of continuing on, kind of growing. Up to Penny. So Kellogg, if you're in Kellogg, if you're in Watopa, probably going to see some hail here fairly shortly. You know, you're probably already seeing some heavy rainfall. We'll take another look at radar. Yeah, you're definitely seeing some heavy rainfall in there. And these are only 2 severe warned storms out of this entire line. We'll take a look at Rochester. I know we have some thunderstorms moving in towards the Rochester area. A little bit of hail between Highway 14 and 75th Street Northwest. We'll take a look at how high or how big this hail is. Penny-size hail. Radar indicated penny-size hail. So rather small hail, but it's hail nonetheless. So it could do a little bit of damage there as that falls. So a little bit of hail getting in towards the western northwest portion of Rochester. That'll continue to track to the east as pretty much everyone but southeast Rochester is starting to see some heavy rainfall. Eventually, all of Rochester will see some heavy rainfall, so just be ready for that. Along with Stewartville, this entire line will continue to move through. It'll just take a little bit longer. If you're down in Decorah, Preston, Charles City, it's going to take a little bit longer to get to you. Hopefully by that time it weakens a little bit as we as we go into our nighttime hours, kind of cool the air down a little bit. Hopefully they weaken, even though our dew points are pretty high still. So with our dew points being so high, we start to cool down a little bit in the overnight hours. We could still have those thunderstorms, but hopefully here it won't be as strong, but we'll continue to watch it in case these do pulse back up. So let's take another look at future track. Handling these thunderstorms pretty well. We go all the way to around 8 p.m. We start to see some strong thunderstorms still. As they continue to move through 9 o'clock, still a lot of red in there. And then as we go into 10 o'clock, notice, look at that, a little bit of a little bit of resurgency towards northern Iowa and Mason City. And then that long line stretches out, and we really kind of stop. We'll go rewind here. We really get out of that severe risk around that midnight hour. 11 o'clock midnight will be our time for, clicked on the wrong thing there. To click on radar. There we go. Back to radar. Still just a couple severe thunderstorm warnings. We'll look at all these thunderstorm warnings. We have the Wabasha warning that it will expire in about a half hour at 8 o'clock, and that will be is warned for 60-mile-per-hour winds, 1-inch sized hail. We'll take another look at our Albert Lee one. That one's going to expire in 3 minutes. We're at 7:27, and at 7:30 we'll see that expire. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, 1-inch and a quarter size hail, so $half sized hail there for that warning. We'll take another look at velocity. We've got a couple little spots. Nothing too concerning right now, especially because we do not have a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings, but that does not mean we can't have a quick spin up. So we do have some spots of red towards Viola, just south of Rochester. Again, these are very, very, very weak, so I'm not too concerned about these, especially because they're not severe warned. But there are just those little blips of some quick little spinning there. Last hail detection scan looking very good for Albert Lee and Freeborn County, looking very much weaker. I do think that the severe thunderstorm warning will expire at that 7:30 time frame and probably won't renew it. Let's go to that larger hail core towards Wabasha County, where Kellogg, you'll probably start to see some hail here soon if this radar indicated hail core is making it to the ground. Let's see. It's probably still looking at penny. It's penny-sized hail. Stretching all the way from Wabasha, Kellogg, down Minnesota 42, continue to move east, eventually crossing into the Mississippi River and then into Wisconsin. Here's our hail core in Rochester. Not doing too well either. That's some good news there. Very weak hail core in Rochester. We'll kind of get a size thing on that. It's P, if that's even making it to there. That last scan really killed it off. So each scan looking better and better here. So we go throughout the night. Kellogg, you're probably seeing a little bit of hail if this radar indicated reading is correct. Probably seeing some heavy rainfall too. And that severe thunderstorm warning in Albert Lee was able to expire, so no more severe thunderstorm warnings for Freeborn County. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning, though, however, towards the Algona area in northern Iowa. That's tracking northeast here. Let's get a reading on that really quick. Okay, so Hancock, Kossuth, Winnebago counties until 8 o'clock, so a half hour left on this severe thunderstorm warning. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, 1-inch sized hail, and this is tracking. Let's see if I can get a speed on this one. This one's heading northeast at 60 miles per hour, so a little bit faster. Moving quick. Get that box out of the way so I can quick draw this up here. We'll go in the middle of this cell and stretch on out. So we got a couple of cities here where we'll start to see some thunderstorms begin to move in, and this is in northern Iowa, really just west of our viewing area. I'll actually zoom out a little bit, and we will have this go all the way up to where about this is heading. So we'll see maybe Lake Mills 805, Glenville 822, and Austin 835. That's just for our viewing area there, just to get an idea of how long these thunderstorms will be tracking for. Let's get another check on that hail core. Well, the hail core in this one was a little bit stronger earlier, starting to weaken. So a lot of these hail cores starting to weaken. That's some very good news. The one in Kellogg starting to get into the Mississippi River. That will start to leave the area. I've got a feeling that a lot of these severe thunderstorm warnings are probably going to be let to expire. I know we have this severe thunderstorm warning here in northern Iowa that won't be expiring until 8 o'clock. This severe thunderstorm warning in Wabasha County will probably get updated relatively soon once this crosses the Mississippi River. Let's get another check on radar. Long line of these thunderstorms, basically perfectly stretching all the way from the top of the Mississippi River all the way down into Highway 18. We even have a couple thunderstorms in central Wisconsin and even northern Wisconsin, a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings there. We got a line of thunderstorms developing in Wisconsin, central Wisconsin, but our main lines here, we do have another severe thunderstorm warning. Just off to the west, we did have future track indicate that there could be some possible cells that kind of resurge again, especially in western Minnesota and kind of by the border. And we're starting to see that here with that severe thunderstorm warning on that cell. So we'll continue to have this severe weather threat until around that 11 o'clock, 10, 11 o'clock hour, possibly even midnight for some of us where we're really far to the southeast, like Decorah or Houston County. Now let's look at our temperature. We looked at dew point. Let's look at temperature. So you can see where we have this line of thunderstorms, right where we're starting to cool down. And that's going to continue to track east here. And that's going to help, it's going to cool us down. It's going to give us that rain, of course. I mean, we have this long line of these thunderstorms. I want to take another look at this thunderstorm warning and see if they're going to update it here, because pretty much they just did. As I mentioned it, they did update it. It's across the Mississippi River now, Wabasha, not in a severe thunderstorm warning anymore. We just have this severe thunderstorm warning in northern Iowa, just towards Algona, just northeast. And let's get a check on this hail core. It does look like it's resurging just a little bit. Nickel-sized hail there, just near Algona. So just a couple spotty hail cells or hail cores, really throughout, even beyond the severe thunderstorm warning. Just some really small hail. Towards Emmons, we have a little bit of that hail, and just that scan really just made it a lot weaker too. Dime-sized hail there, just north of Emmons area. Hail core not doing too well towards Algona. That's some good news there. We'll continue to kind of watch this as it might be kind of pulsing a little bit. We'll look at we'll loop our radar and see if this is kind of pulsing. It's kind of hard to tell because it just kind of builds up. But it looks like it is. It did get strong, and then now it's weakening, and it continues to kind of latch on to this line. So if these thunderstorms were to be separated in their own separate cells, like there were gaps in between, they probably could get a little bit stronger because they're not really fighting for the same thunderstorm potential. They're fighting for the moisture altogether. If they were by themselves, they'd probably be able to grow a little bit stronger. But that's just not the case because they're all together in this line on this frontal boundary. And you can see kind of growing a little bit more, even past Algona. No hail in that yet, but we'll continue to watch that. Another severe thunderstorm warning off to our west. Jackson. And that's for that cell that kind of blew back up here. Some resurgency in southwestern Minnesota. We'll watch that cell because that's also tracking east, and it'll be interesting to see what that does, because we have these thunderstorms eating up all of our thunderstorm energy, in simpler words, or basically eating up the moisture in our atmosphere. So it'll be interesting to see what that thunderstorm does when it makes into our area, because it will be very limited. I feel like it'll be very limited in the resources that it could have to grow really strong. So let's go to future track again. Kind of see this line of thunderstorms continuing on throughout the evening. And then around 12:30, we kind of see it stop. There is a line of some thunderstorms just west of I-35, but they kind of weaken. Notice they die out as they get towards southeast Minnesota. We'll have much stabler air once these thunderstorms move through. So like I mentioned before, when I was looking at that last cell, it'll be interesting to see what it does when it makes it into our area, because we have all of our, in simpler terms, our thunderstorm energy pretty much all eaten up here, and then we'll be quiet throughout the rest of the week. Just a couple shower chances Wednesday evening or Wednesday night into Thursday, couple rain chances there. The rest of the week looking very quiet. I mean, even Wednesday's looking relatively nice. We'll just have that chance in the evening, overnight hours. So, not much right now concerning for southeast Minnesota and northeast Iowa. We do have this severe thunderstorm warning in northern Iowa towards Forest City. We'll be monitoring that. We have another severe thunderstorm warning off to our west towards Worthington. We'll be also monitoring that thunderstorm. A confirmed tornado in Wisconsin just along I-94 near Clare. So that's out of our area. That's going to continue to stay east. We won't be seeing that, at least that thunderstorm, but we'll continue to see these thunderstorms. Plenty of lightning, very abundant in the lightning signatures for these thunderstorms. So it is still telling us that, hey, there's strong thunderstorms, just not really that severe threat just yet. They may tap in. We'll see if they can tap into some more instability later on when they continue to move through. But right now, looking rather weaker. Still some strong thunderstorms all along this line. Couple severe thunderstorm warnings near Algona, as I mentioned before. Our other severe thunderstorm warning that was in Wabasha County, now across the Mississippi River in Wisconsin. But then it'll be interesting to see what this cell does. Take a just for fun, we'll look at this cell. Hail core, not too impressive. I thought it would be a little bit better just looking at radar because it was that really dark purple. Well, it looks like this one's just really a very heavy rainmaker. Look how possibly was a little bit stronger earlier when I didn't check it, but maybe that was a new scan. But that'll be interesting to see. We'll take a look. We'll take a look at this warning. So, inch and a quarter size hail, so half a quarter size hail at 60 miles per hour wind gusts. 8 miles south of Worthington, moving northeast. This thunderstorm's moving northeast at 65 miles per hour. That's a pretty fast thunderstorm. We'll watch it. We'll have another, looks like another cell just kind of trying to develop in front of just south of Fairmont. Put this on a loop and know there's a lot of lightning in this thunderstorm. So again, our only severe thunderstorm warning is in northern Iowa, just out of our viewing area, getting close towards I-35 in Mason City. We'll have Hancock County, Kossuth County, and Winnebago County until 8 p.m. tonight. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts with 1-inch size hail. And looking at the hail core, they are weakening. So that's some very good news there. Just penny-sized hail, at least radar indicating a little bit of hail growing a little bit towards I-35 south of Albert Lea. This is not a severe warned storm, as that thunderstorm was starting to weaken. Dime-sized hail there, just north of Silver Lake, heading into Freeman in Freeborn County. Another little bit of hail towards Rockdale between Dodge and Olmsted County. So take a look at that. Looking at pea-size hail, so some very small hail that will be moving in towards Rockdale. And then we have pea-size hail there in southwest Rochester, excuse me. And that's pretty much it. It is really quieting down here into some very good news. We just have these strong thunderstorms moving through. Just kind of an area of concern is going to be this severe thunderstorm as that continues to track northeast. And then this thunderstorm, it's also moving slightly northeast, could make it towards I-35 here. We'll see what that does as we continue going to the night with just how our storm, in simpler words, our storm energy is being eaten up by the line of thunderstorms that we're seeing now. And so it'll be interesting to see what this cell does when it moves in. You can see our Fairmont cell that we were mentioning really weakening as it got towards I-90. So that is a very good sign, possibly some stabler air towards us. So that's some very good news. I think that will eventually weaken this cell towards Worthington that I was mentioning before, and then eventually we'll have some weaker thunderstorms move through. I'll stay on the stream until this severe thunderstorm warning here in northern Iowa, see what happens with this severe thunderstorm warning in case this gets continued, because there is a long hail core, but it's not very big hail. It's just dime-sized hail, so some rather small hail. Again, hail nonetheless, but when it comes to severe thunderstorm hail-wise, it's rather small. So again, this one's for 60-mile-per-hour winds and max hail size of a 1 inch. So if radar's not picking it up, we could see 1 inch size hail. Glenville, probably seeing some hail right now, penny-size hail, some small hail there. All right, so now let's take another look at future track. This is what what we will be dealing with again. Kind of just repeating, in case anybody's just tuning in, we'll just kind of keep repeating over and over again kind of what we're going through here. So around 9 o'clock, we'll see the chance for a few more thunderstorms move through. Continue the line, just continuing to move on through, and then eventually towards around that midnight hour, we have some quieter weather finally start to move in. I do want to say thank you for all the viewer reports of all of the photos that we have gotten. I do want to say thank you for all the... And because it helps us a lot. That helps us a ton with how we read the hail core signatures on radar. Even the report of the rotation towards Orinoco, that helped us a lot too. All right, so we'll take another last look at our hail cores here. We have a couple smaller hail cores. This one towards Glenville, where we'll take another look there. That's through Glenville. Penny-size hail, so this is just some small hail throughout Freeborn and Glenville area in Freeborn County. And then we have this severe thunderstorm warning in Buffalo, close to Buffalo Center towards Algona. All right. Let's take a look at timing-wise for the rest of these thunderstorms. So what we have on radar. So these storms moving roughly at about 50 miles per hour. There's a couple of them that are going a little bit faster. But we'll just take a brief, we'll take a little line here and kind of just go all the way across and get some timings in here. I didn't get everybody. I was hoping to get everybody on that line. Okay. Austin 749, 824 for Mason City, Preston 843, and La Crosse at 935. We'll take a look at Winona too, because I don't know why that was getting missed. So this line here. Stewartville will be 755, Winona 832, and then finally getting in towards the Mississippi River around 920. So that is what we're looking for timing-wise with these thunderstorms. And I'll have it play on a loop one more time. And we're going to be ending the stream here. If anything bubbles up again, we have any severe thunderstorm warnings or even tornado warnings, we'll be back on here. But we're going to wrap it up tonight as these thunderstorms are looking to weaken here for at least now. We'll see if there's any resurgency, but these hail cores are dropping. So that is some very good news. We'll just see some steady rain, steady lightning. You can see those lightning signatures, a lot of lightning. They are strong thunderstorms, just because they're not severe warned. They are still strong thunderstorms, but they are not strong enough to be considered severe at this point in time. So we're going to end this live stream, and then we'll be back in case any of these thunderstorms become severe, or if we have another tornado threat once again. So we'll be back if need be, but we're going to end the stream now. Hope you have a great day. Stay safe out there. Stay weather aware here as we go throughout the night, because we do have that tornado warning until 11 o'clock tonight. So just keep that in mind here as we have some of these thunderstorms move through. Keep giving us your reports. Keep sending us pictures. Stay safe while taking those pictures. But keep sending us those storm reports. We very much appreciate them, and we do look at all of them. We're not able to put all of them on air, sadly. We wish we could, but we do look at them, and we do appreciate them, and we do keep them logged in our catalog. So thank you for that. Thank you for giving us those reports. So that's all for us this evening. For now, we'll be back again if our threat gets larger here as we go into the late evening.